Welcome everybody, this is Fred Razak at CMtrading. So welcome to this evening's webinar titled Guide to the MT4. My name is Fred Razak and my email address, of course, for your reference is frazak@cmtrading.com. If we don't get to all your questions throughout the webinar, you're always welcome to email me with any questions you have. I'm generally pretty good about responding in a timely fashion. This evening we're going to discuss the MT4. I'm going to give you a guided tour, okay, of the MT4. The MT4 is the most widely used trading platform in the Forex market. It's quite versatile. You could add a lot of things onto it, including indicators, including statistical data that you can impute into the actual graphs. But we'll give you an overview of it this evening, just that people will have it. I generally find that most people don't know enough about it, and then they come together and they say, "Oh, I didn't know that." Okay, well, knowledge. It starts everything. It starts with knowledge, and we're going to cover in our webinar goals this evening the Marketwatch, okay, which is basically a list of all the Forex symbols, the indices, and some of the commodities that you're able to trade on the MT4 at CMtrading. We're also going to discuss some of the graphs. We're also going to discuss the ticket window where you actually place the actual trade, and we'll discuss the bottom of the terminal, which is really the platform. It's called the terminal, incidentally. So it consists of the balance, the equity, the free margin, some account history, and a few other things. So without further ado, just if you'll bear with me, just 1 second, we'll get it up. This is basically what the MT4 looks like, okay, when you first get it. Okay, it should see it right now. Okay, it's basically just a sample page. Okay, this is a regular demo account. If you see on the top of it, this is my demo account at CMtrading. I just set up this afternoon. Okay, the first thing you need to notice is something called the Marketwatch, which is located right here on the left of the screen. If I make it a little bit bigger, this is basically all the symbols that you're able to trade. Now, if you look down the list, there's not that many. There's maybe like 10 or 15 here. So not all of them are populating. So in order to populate everything, you right-click on this area, and this window shows up. Okay, you have the option of setting up a new order, chart the window. You have a ticket chart, depth of the market, so on and so forth. At the bottom, okay, right here it says Show All. Okay, and this gives you the option to show all the symbols. You see how that just populated all the symbols on the MT4. So now we don't just have the Forex symbols in the light green, which we first start off with. Okay, then we have the secondaries. These Forex symbols are what we call the secondaries. These are the primaries. The Euro USD, the GBP USD, the Aussie USD, USD Japanese Yen, the USD Swiss franc, so on and so forth. And then in this case, it pops up the silver and the gold. XAG is silver and XAU is gold. And then further down we have your secondaries. Now, your secondaries are still Forex symbols that are basically not the majors. For example, Euro Czech, okay, or Euro CAD. These are Forex symbols that are not as widely traded against each other between the banks, but they are located here, and you do get a chance to see them and to trade them as well. For those clients that are in South Africa, if you see here, that one should be very. Well, let me see if I could just spot it out. If you see that, maybe that's better. It's the USD ZAR. Okay, that one you should recognize. It's also secondary. It's not like some of the majors. The spreads we'll see are much wider. But then we change colors, and changing the colors signifies that we're actually changing symbols or classification of symbols. Here we're actually discussing commodities. CL is light sweet crude oil. Okay, it's traded. You see the price of it per barrel. Okay, that's $43 per barrel. Then we go into natural gas, the S&P futures with the Standard & Poor's 500, the Nasdaq, which is then we jump into right here. We're jumping into indices. Indices are basically the index by which a stock trades under. So, for example, if you're trading, excuse me, if you're trading one of the banks from South Africa, they'd probably be located in the JSC. So each country has its index, has its stock exchange. So in the United States, you have the Nasdaq, you have the Dow Jones, which are the two major indexes in the United States, and then there's the S&P, which is a collaboration of different stocks that make up some of the Dow stocks. You have what we call the DAX. The DAX is the German stock exchange, the FTSE, which is the British stock exchange, the CAC, which is the French, okay? And then we'll see further on it jumps back to it. You could move these any way you want to, but this is just the default setting. You see here we're going back to commodities. We're in corn, wheat, etc. And then we get this greenish color. So right here, for example, this is the JSE, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, and some of the other exchanges around the world, the IBEX, the Hang Seng, and some of the other. You further go into different types of indices. Here is the Nikkei, the Nikkei, the Russell 2000 right here, and some of the other Eastern, I would say Eastern or Far Eastern stock exchanges like Taiwan and so on and so forth. And then again we go back and we're back in commodities. So Brent, crude oil, we have coffee, we have copper, sugar, so on and so forth. And you see that they all populate here. Okay, so this is basically your Marketwatch. When you're looking for a specific symbol to trade, you'll be toggling up and down this list to looking for what you'll look to be trading. Now there's a few ways to populate the graph. Okay, before we go into that, you see here that you're given the bid and the ask price, and that's basically redundant because when you're looking to trade something, you're not particularly looking at the spread necessarily right away. But for example, if we wanted to, let's take something that's popular in South Africa. If we wanted to take the USD ZAR and I wanted to chart it, I could press here, right-click on this area with my mouse, and then press Chart Window, or I could just take the actual symbol, click on it, and drag it and place it on the graph site, and boom, I get a graph. Okay, and there you go, that's my graph. Now there's a few options here on the graph, and they either come up by right-clicking on the actual graph, where you have different options on them, or you could go up here and do different types of stuff on the graph. This is also an option right here. You can change it to a bar chart, okay, which is what's being populated right now. Candlesticks, you can't really tell because it's a little bit, there you go. Or you can change it into a line chart. It depends on your preference, okay, but it's all here under charts on the top of the window. You could also, what's very cool, and by right-clicking on it, you could do the same thing almost. Okay, you could go to Properties by right-clicking on the actual graph, pressing Properties, and then you can kind of change whatever you want the chart to look like. So you could leave it as black in the foreground, white in the foreground, the grid to be gray. I like to keep my bars up to be green. Okay, I generally like a softer green for myself. I think it was spring green. Lime is a little bit too strong for me. And then the down I like to be red. I think that's right there. And then the bull chart to be green again. and then the bear chart to be red as well. And then I press reset, and it should come up on the candlesticks. There you go. I generally go with this format because then I can see what's up, what's green, what's down. But generally, you could do however you'd like. If you look here, the USDZAR had a little bit of a motion today. Okay. If we look at the different hour charts, this is a 1 minute chart. Okay. You could do a 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, and so located up here. 30-minute chart, 1 hour, 4 hours. You get the idea. And you see, like, it was a big day for the. Look at a 4-hour chart. It's a big day for the USDZAR. Big sell-off in the morning from yesterday, really, and you see that it's right back to its almost highs, almost at 1250. So that's one of the options here. By pressing the properties, and you could change different properties on the graph, kind of customize your coloring on all that. Okay, if you go on the second column, you see there's colors and common. You could change different type of options on it also. You could make it a bar chart, a line chart, and so on. And then you could also have the option of show ask line, okay, which actually shows you the spread. So if you look here, I'm able to make that a little bit bigger. You see here, between these two, okay, I don't know if you can see it that carefully there, but there's a red line and there's underneath it a gray line, and that basically represents the bid and the ask, the differences. Okay, just keep in mind though, as a side note, not all the prices are populated on the actual graph. To get a full picture of where the prices are really being populated, you would need to go to Tools and History Center. What happens often is that people are trading, okay, and they see that they got hit on the graph, but in their terminal they didn't get hit. And the reason that happens is because what we populated on the graph and what populates on the terminal are a little bit of a sway, and it's just impossible to pinpoint every price that is being populated in the market. So to get a really correct view of that, you really need to go into the history under the windows. So for example, if we look here, where's the Euro USD? These are all secondaries. Let's get to a primaries. Here. Okay, so we're gonna look at the GBP USD. Okay, and I'm gonna press add, and you see here it populates my actual trades and per minute, and it tells me the volume also. This is really very key. It tells me if it was an uptick or a downtick, and tells me the volume. So you could toggle down and see where most of the volume is happening and at what times it's happening. So for example, here we're looking at today's date, 12:30, and we're looking at 1488 is the open, the high is this, the low is this, and the close is this, and this was the volume. So we traded within all these parameters during that time. This is just a side note. You really don't need to use this on a regular basis, but it is a side note. Looking at our major stuff here, okay, you can also set up profiles, and you could save them. So you could have multiple profiles of using different setups. If you like to have, you know, different views, what I like to do, I like to set up my graphs, let's say like this over here, and then I'll set up my gold, my euro, for example. I'll set up one here. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll go to my profile. A little bit of a perfectionist. What I do is I go to my profile, I press save as, okay, and then it gives me the option of what to save it as, and then I could just open it the next time I want to open it, in terms of looking up my profile, so I don't have to. If you see here, okay, let's do like this. Let's do save as. Okay, save as Fred's homepage. Okay, and I'll be able to save it. Okay, no matter what I do, if I go to another profile, okay, I go to the overview, I could always come back, okay, and open up my profiles by Fred's homepage. You see that? And that brings me back to this page. Okay, so you have different options. You could set up multiple pages based on currencies, based on. I usually keep to one page or maybe 2 pages just to for different references. But in general, I'm keeping to one page. So it's just something that you might want to, for your own sake, down the line, discuss and see what you'd like as a personal preference. You also have obviously on the charts to add different type of tools and insert different type of indicators. Now there's the statistical indicators obviously that you can add and you could customize. There's different type of lines that you can do, channels, Gann lines, Fibonacci, shapes, everything is there. And you could write yourself different notes on it, okay? And so on and so forth. So that's really sometimes useful, but altogether the chart has its drawbacks. I can't ever take the chart off my actual trading platform. It's always stays on the platform. But that's something most traders really dislike, professional traders dislike, but altogether, this is basically the setup of the charts. Now, let's say you want to open up a new order. So a new order, you've got a bunch of options. You could press new order, and that will open up your ticket window. You could also right-click and go to trading and press a new order. You could also do a one-click trading. This is something that's relatively new. You could basically just press it. Let's buy this. Let's look what we can do here. And basically the reason they set it up is because it's supposed to give you a faster way to purchase a specific symbol that you're trading. So for example, if I wanted to buy this, I press buy and I press buy and I'm in. Okay, and obviously it populates down here. I don't even know what I bought here. I bought the Euro USD at 106. What price did I get? I got 106.237. Right now, making back some money. It was down 14 bucks. Okay, but generally, an order ticket window is the one that you see right in front of me. You have the symbol on the top, and usually when you're pressing it and you're on the graph, usually the default window will show up. Okay, with the Euro USD, you have the volume. Okay, this is really a place where most people make a mistake. Volume starts at 0.01. So if you're trading Forex symbols, 0.01 equals $1,000. One lot equals $100,000. So that'll give you the perspective of trading. The most you could purchase at one time is 8 lots. That would be $800,000. Then the next options is take profit and stop loss. This is really useful when you are trading and you want to protect yourself. A stop loss means that if it hits that price, you're out. Okay, and you set up a specific price where if a certain, like for example, we bought it on 106.262, right? If it goes down to 1.060 and I press that here, it'll take me out on 1.0600. Okay, and that would be my stop loss. Take profit is the opposite. If it hits a certain threshold and I'm making money, then I would be up in the position and I'd look to take a profit. So these two are pending orders. They are what we call limit orders. In some other cases they're called, and the type of execution would be a pending. You see here we already executed, so it's not going to show me the type of execution. Then this is the confirmation that I purchased the order and it was successful. I could print it, I could press OK. I'm losing money here. Okay, Fred's not happy. But this is an option that you could take off or put on, the one-click trading. Okay, and you could take it off. Now you also have depth of market. This gives you a different perspective of where something is trading in relative to the history. You also have periodic where you can change the time, the templates, etc., the volume, the grid, zoom in, zoom out, which all these options you have up here also. So you could go back and forth on those type of options. Okay, here you have what we call the navigator page. It's basically if you have multiple accounts, people are using indicators. This is really great because it'll show you that you can actually add it in, so on and so forth. So if I wanted to add a MACD, all I need to do is just take it and dump it. If I want to remove it, okay, I go to properties, go to common. No, sorry. If I want to remove it, where is it? Indicator list. There we go. It shows me the indicator. I go to the indicator. I press delete, and I close it, and it's gone. Okay, so that's right click. There's usually an indicator list right here. It shows up, and I remove it. Okay, but altogether, the MT4 is the graphs are not so bad. Okay, they're pretty good, but you can't always use them based on the graph. Okay, that's what I suggest to traders across the board, to make sure that you know where something is trading. And the way that you know where something is trading is to go by the history center. Okay, this is the actual trades that are actually going into the market. Okay, that leads us to the third part of our trading platform, and that's the terminal. This obviously shows us down here, if we're able to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, it shows us down here which trade we took on, at what time, at what price, and what's it trading currently. Underneath that, in the darker gray, you have the balance amount. The balance amount is the amount that you had in your account before you open up a position. You have what we call the equity, the margin that you're using in order to facilitate this trade, okay, the free margin that you're able to continuously trade, and the margin level. Okay, anytime the margin level goes below 20%, your trades are automatically sold out. Okay, so that's when you get a call. And wow, look at that. We're unchanged on the trade. Actually, we're getting back. Okay, there's an option here to see the tick trade. Okay, where basically you can see the tick chart. Okay, which is right here, and it's the same thing as opening a new order. And you see the tick chart right here, okay? And as you can see here, I just opened up. To go back, you just toggle back to the symbol, but I'm back in the order ticket number right here. In the olden days, the reason this is called an order ticket is in the olden days, they actually physically used to write it on a piece of paper. They used to fill all this information out on the ticket, and they used to place the order with the specialist at the stock exchange or whatever they were trading. I'm up a little bit money here. I'm going to close the position. Let's see if we can close it. We didn't get it in time. Okay, but in all seriousness, what they used to have is this symbol. They used to write out the symbol. The volume is the size of the execution. We discussed that. Stop loss and take profit. And now you see that I could place a pending order of a buy limit or a stop limit. A buy limit, for example, is if I place it when I want to purchase a specific symbol at a certain place, I press, so let's say if it hits 1.06099, let's say, I place this buy order. You see it populated down here, buy limit order of 1, okay, at this price. So if it hits this price, okay, which is another 25 pips about, I'll be executed at this price and I will buy this particular share. So buy limit order, again, go to trading, new order, pending order, and then you place your market execution. Means instant execution. Obviously, sell the market is when you short something and you're anticipating that's going to go down, and when you buy the market, you're anticipating that's going to go up. Now, there's a few options on how to sell here. One of the ways is to just close it by ticking this small window here, just to close it to get out of the position. Okay, I'm going to do that with the pending order, and you see we deleted the pending order. Okay, exposure is what you're being exposed to, that you can see here. Account history shows all your account history, even if you had a pending order that you deleted. News is news that comes out. Okay, pretty accurate. Alerts, mailbox, doesn't normally hit. This is new. This is a market that you can actually subscribe to either by paying or what have you, of different options about trading and trading news in the market, applications, magazines, so on and so forth. So you do have options. This is new. This is actually a new feature. And this is also new. This is signals that you can actually subscribe to, okay, and see how these guys are doing and how much money they're making all together, and add them onto your navigator as an indicator for you to trade based on somebody else's hard work. Code-based, experts, and this is a journal. Journal is pretty much your trading history of when you went in and the entire history of your account so far as your trading was involved. Okay, there are a bunch of other features, but probably this is the basic features to the MT4 that I think you'll find useful.